Welcome back to Paul's Tech News. First of all, how dare you? How dare you not buy all the graphics cards that are just sitting there waiting on store shelves, beckoning you with their come-hither cooling solutions and their provocatively exposed PCI Express connectors? For 4+ weeks now, you, specifically you, have fallen way behind on your GPU buying quota, and Nvidia and AMD shareholders are understandably miffed. And I don't want to hear excuses about the vicissitudes of multi-year buying cycles or the fact that you don't have money even for food. New GPUs are coming out, okay, like the RTX 4060 and 4060 Ti and the Radeon RX 7600, and we got to clear inventory space for them ASAP. Look, you've upset Linus so much that he's quitting as CEO now, but the good news is that you can quit as CEO too in this week's episode of Tech News.
Excellent!
Thermaltake's original SWAFan series revolutionized case fans by adding swappable fan blades, and now they're even better with the SWAFan EX, featuring magnetic connectors that daisy chain fans together to simplify installation and cable management. They're still available in black or snow trim with 12 or 14 centimeter sizes. They still feature high static pressure for use with radiators, and they still come with an extra set of reversed fan blades, easy to swap in so you can show off your fan's good side no matter where it's installed in your case. For more on the SWAFan EX from Thermaltake, click the sponsor link in the video description. Who knew that the great GPU shortage of 2022 would be followed up by the great GPU malaise of 2023? For indeed, no one seems to give a shit about all the new cards that have launched, even though they sport a feature many GPUs lacked last year: availability. For 4 weeks running now, overall sales have dropped, at least in Germany, according to data compiled by 3D Center, and things have apparently gotten so bad globally that Nvidia has halted production of RTX 4070 GPUs until June, at least according to industry sources on the Chinese board forums. Even the mighty and unflappable Jensen Huang himself, Nvidia CEO, has been affected, as his performance-based compensation package will be down $2.5 million based on the past year's relatively weak sales, meaning he will have to scrape by on just $21 million in petty cash, which will surely be a struggle that reawakens his sympathies for the average PC gamer trying to choose between an RTX 4070 Ti and this month's rent. Don't worry about Jensen though. Analysts expect that the continued march towards an AI-powered future will keep the company hugely profitable for years to come. They might even remember that they make gaming GPUs at some point too. Actually, that some point is now, or was Thursday, when Nvidia officially revealed their newest RTX 40 series GPUs. The one launching soonest is the RTX 4060 Ti 8GB, which will cost $400 MSRP and should go up for sale in just 3 days on May 24th. There are also a pair of cards launching in July, the RTX 4060 non-Ti for $300 and the RTX 4060 Ti 16GB for $500. So the $300 to $500 price range will now have 40 series cards available, which is good, but that doesn't stop us from being negative and cynical about it. Nvidia is still leaning heavily on DLSS 3.0 and frame generation to demonstrate gen-on-gen performance improvements, and many have noted that, according to their own numbers, the new 4060 Ti looks to be about on par with an RTX 3070. They also showed off games with settings that seemed particularly tuned to keep VRAM usage under 8GB, which is a VRAM configuration that has been much maligned in recent months because newer titles often need more than that. Expect performance-based reviews sometime this week, if prior launches are any indication, and if after that you are still interested in buying one, then note that you will have many to choose from. Nvidia is producing a Founders Edition RTX 4060 Ti, although they won't be for the 4060 or the 4060 Ti 16GB. It still uses a 12VH power connector, which is pretty dumb for a 160-watt card, but so it goes. Third-party partners will have plenty of cards that don't feature that 12VH power plug though, and just use an 8-pin PEG power connector like God intended, with 8 versions coming from MSI. We have a total of 5 from Gigabyte/Aorus. Looks like 3 coming in from Zotac, including a Spider-Man themed one. 3 more here from PNY. We got 5 over here from Colorful. And since Tom's Hardware never updated their article with ASUS stuff like they promised, Guru of 3D has 4 different models coming from ASUS. Look, even pictures of all of them. Tough Gaming, and the dual card available in white or black. And surely us reviewers will have plenty of time to test all of these before we leave for Computex. Oh yeah, and there's AMD too. AMD hasn't gone through with a formal announcement yet, but we're also expecting a mid-range GPU launch from the Radeon team this week, the RX 7600, non-XT mind you. May 25th is the expected launch date for this GPU, which will also apparently sport 8GB of VRAM, as well as a Navi 33XL GPU with 32 compute units and 2048 stream processors. Like the 4060 Ti, the RX 7600's VRAM is on a 128-bit bus, so both will have 288GB per second of bandwidth available. We can also see a boost clock here of 2655 MHz, although according to the article, it's expected to push up to 2850 MHz or so in real-world use. All this is to say, we have a lot of tech coming in the next week or two, so brace yourselves. Soon there will be even more PC hardware on store shelves for people to decide not to buy. Okay, it's time for Tech Briefs, where I can tell long stories much too fast, or fast stories at just the right speed. Last week saw its fair share of drama as a pretty major flaw was discovered with the AM5 platform, which led to some Ryzen 7000 series CPUs, particularly the X3D kind, getting toasty in a self-immolating sort of way. Gamers Nexus came through with the evidence-based reporting as usual, and a comedy of errors has ensued with ASUS, as well as other motherboard manufacturers in the past week, scrambling to post BIOS updates which don't fix the problem, claiming users will void their warranties if they do download those BIOS updates, and generally doing what we call bad PR. Well, no longer. As of Monday, ASUS posted this statement addressing the concerns of people with blown-up CPUs or potentially voided warranties. They said the stuff they said before doesn't count. Glad they could clear that whole mess up. Microsoft will be allowed to buy Activision Blizzard, it would appear, after finally receiving clearance from EU regulators who had been holding the whole deal up for, I don't know, ethics or something like that. The $68.7 billion deal still needs to clear one more hurdle though: UK regulators, who have established now that they don't see eye to eye with authorities in the EU, and from my understanding have taken some steps in recent years to separate their country from the rest of Europe. Wonder how that's going for them. A bit of positive news next if you're into repairing your own stuff. Logitech has partnered with iFixit to make their peripherals easier to fix by selling replacement part kits. It will start small with the popular MX Master and MX Anywhere mouses, but initial plans aim to include 11 models in the near future, with more planned down the line if the feature proves popular. The iFixit Logitech Repair Hub website will also be available now, so users can buy repair kits or see if their product is eligible. Finally, we have a bit of sad news to close the show. Linus Sebastian, founder and CEO of Linus Media Group, is stepping down as CEO of his company so he can pursue his true passion, not having the responsibilities of the CEO of one of the most popular tech media outlets on the internet. As someone who has avoided responsibility as much as possible in all areas of life myself, I can confirm that this is a good call by Linus. He will now be the Chief Vision Officer at LMG, a role that includes all the fun and breaking of stuff he's known for, without the monotonous people herding that the CEO role requires. That role will now be handled by Taryn Tong, Linus' former boss at NCIX, who other LMG employees have agreed not to haze now that he's officially been hired. All in all, it seems like a good move for everyone involved, and I take this as inspiration for an announcement of my own. I will be stepping down as host of this show for the next 3 weeks. I will be traveling, you see, so expect lots of other videos on Computex and other stuff, and also look for tech news to return on June 18th. But there you have it, guys. Tech news for the week, tech news for May, tech news for pretty much the first half of the year. And if you liked it, click that like button or leave me a comment down below. While you're down there, all of the articles I talked about today are linked in the description if you're interested. You can also check out my store at paulshardware.net for high-quality merchandise, t-shirts, hoodies, beer sets, and more. Subscribing to my channel is always a good call too. Thanks again, everyone, and we'll see you again soon.